Hi everyone, it's Slytherin here. Well, it's spring here in Melbourne, so we're going to take a look around my backyard and have a look at some of the animals that call this place home. It's taken a while for spring actually to get going here in Melbourne. We had a fairly cold winter, and what often happens on the back of a cold winter like that is spring takes a while to kick in, so it has stop-start. So we have a few days of warmth and then it gets cold again. So as a consequence, it's actually really hard to get your animals going at times, particularly for all the animals that live outdoors, which is what happens here. But today we're in for a spell, or it's a really nice day, and we're in for a spell of really good weather and a few warm days. So it's time to get some feeding done. So come with me and we'll go through each of the pits and what lives where. So there's the gourmet fiesta that awaits. Now it's just a matter of carrying it all and not spilling it. Sorry dogs, nothing for you. So I'll plonk right here on the corner of our first couple of pits. So it's a matter of now remembering who gets what. Alright, so this is a bit of, what do we got in here? So we've got some bok choy, some blueberries, some capsicum, some strawberry and some mushroom. This is going into this first pit here, where it houses a couple of our bearded dragons. They weren't happy with the GoPro, but once they realise the food's there, they'll be into it. G'day mate. And over there is also a blue tongue, and I'll probably come back to that particular blue tongue and why there's only one in here with a couple of bearded dragons. Alright, so next we'll move that and we'll pop, what have we got? We'll pop this lot of, got to remember which one's which now. Actually no, I've mixed it up. I knew I'd done something wrong there. Try again. So this one here, with the stems of the bok choy, was to go in this particular pit, which houses, and it's a matter of keeping it out of the sun a bit too. So we'll pop it in under this kangaroo paw here, and you can see who lives in here. I'll just pop down in here. See old mate in there. There's a few shinglebacks in this one. And our oldest bearded dragon, who is hiding up over the back over there. She is well and truly in retirement. Keep her away from our males to make sure she doesn't breed anymore. All right, we'll move along. All right, so we'll move along into the pit. Next in order, next in line. Alright, so I'm going to jump over the wall here, make sure I don't trot on anyone as I get in. Have a quick look around, see who might actually be around and up and about. There's a little, kind of gives it away who lives in here. Sorry for the intrusion, team. But as you guessed it, this is the pit where we house our common blue tongues. So even though it's not a hot day today, but the sun has got plenty of gas in it, so some of the lizards actually are hiding. But sure, once the food goes in, and they haven't probably eaten for maybe a week. It's been really cool here in Melbourne. Sorry for any noise in the background. House backs onto a road, so you get a bit of road traffic, and you also get a bit of noise from old mate down here, who is walking around his pit, and he'll definitely be looking for a feed, but we'll come back to him. Alright, so a little bit of a mix in this pit. We use a jelly meat cat food, particularly at this time of the year, good for putting on a bit of weight, but it certainly shouldn't be something that's a staple. Let's put that in under there as a bit of shade. But I find the common blue tongues, they tend to like a bit more of a mix, and they'll probably be more inclined to want to eat the fruit platter with a bit of mushroom in it. So a bit of variety for those guys. It's also a good opportunity just to see how things are doing. A little bit of a health check as you were, And we'll just lift up this mock rock. Okay, you also see that we have a couple of youngsters in here, and in particular things like this little blotch blue tongue, which by rights doesn't belong in with the Easterns, but again there's a story behind that as well. I'll get to that in a minute. So before I put this down, go on mate, just pop your head out there for me. Put that down. Back where it was. Alright. Okay. Now this guy's a bit different. And, well, this guy's actually a hybrid between a blotched blue tongue and a common blue tongue. I might actually talk about that in a separate video, and it'll also help clarify why we have a few different pits as well. But on with the feeding. Alrighty, so we've moved across to our next pit. And again, I'll make sure I'm not stepping on anyone as I pop in, because there are quite a number of animals in our pits, and you'll see that there's quite a bit of vegetation in them. But in here, you'll find, I just spied someone in sitting in here, you'll find this guy. So this is one of several blotched blue tongues that live in this pit. But also in this pit is a guy we call Speedy. Here's Speedy. Speedy is just a plain old Centralian bearded dragon, but he's our sort of, I guess, dominant male, if you like, our biggest male. He spends the summer in this particular pit, where we can keep him away from beardeds that we don't want him to mate with, but importantly from baby blue tongues, which is why I had a baby blotch blue tongue or two. There's a couple in that other pit over there, because, well, as you know, anyone that's kept bearded dragons, anything that moves and they can fit in their mouth, old mate will have a crack, won't you? So we keep the baby, real young baby blue tongues away from this guy, because he will definitely eat them if he can. All right, mate, hang on, I'll put you down so I can put some food in here. Okay, so we'll put a bowl right near here for our mate Speedy, and he's quite dark in colour, which means he hasn't quite warmed up yet. If he was hot, he'd be a lighter colour, but I think once he works out the foods there, he'll probably have a munch. Now this pile of grossness is just a commercial brand of cat food, and as I say, the blotchies in this particular pit, they really like this stuff. Really good for putting a bit of size on them in a hurry. These guys live out here all year. It's a pretty natural sort of environment, this pit, so they have to live through our winters as well. So they go a long period of time where they actually don't eat. So now there's a time to try and put a bit of condition on them. So we'll pop this down in here. There's a little bit of protection, and it's got such a strong smell, they will sniff it out and come to it. And I can see, you know, there's just in there, there's one of our bigger males sitting in there. But also there's numerous sized blotches in here, as well as there's a couple of hybrid blues in here as well. And again, I'll get back to talking about hybrids in a separate video. There we go. Don't muck around. So this guy, just while we're on it, Centralians, or your central bearded dragons, really wouldn't cope in Melbourne all year round. I'm sure there's people that keep them outside all year round, but I find where we are, we're on the we're south of Melbourne on the Mornington Peninsula. So being a peninsula, we do get sort of quite humid and quite damp winters. We get quite damp winters, so keeping these guys outside all year round is probably not good. So what we do is for a period of time through in winter, we bring them inside. They'll have a really simple existence indoors. We don't feed them that much, a little bit of food, a little bit of supplementary heat, and then in about October, we move them outside, because these guys, anyone that's kept a bearded dragon or any sort of a gammon really knows that they can't be without really, really good UV, and there's only one perfect source of UV, I reckon, and that's the sun. But we happen to be in a position where we can provide it. We've committed a bit of space to our lizards, but what we've also had to do, because we've got a few bearded dragons, we've also got a few pits, and we keep them separate, again, to control fighting, but also breeding. I mean, we don't breed our animals for the sake of it. They're not a commodity. So we separate them where possible. All right, so we've got a pit over here, our latest addition to our backyard. Looks a bit sparse, but that is because it's the newest pit, and we built this because we didn't really want the two species of blue tongues that we have to hybridize. We've had it happen, and whilst the babies are quite nice, we don't want it to keep happening, and we certainly don't want to keep breeding hybrid animals. So now that I mixed up the food before, I've come back to our bearded dragons, and we'll pop their food in here, so they'll eat some of that as well. A nice colour on this guy. Yeah. Not too grumpy with my intrusion, but we'll let them get back to it. Now, the presence of food has certainly woken a few up, hasn't it? So I put the bowl of food in, and all of a sudden they're out and about. This is our girl. So she's out and about having a wander, and I think no doubt trying to sniff out the food, which she'll find. So time to feed star of the show. So I can do this probably with one hand, hopefully. I've got our trusty old rake. We load up our rake with an egg, and it's just a bit of a snack today, isn't it, mate? As ants crawl up my arm. So we'll put this down here and see what sort of response. Still got a couple to go. So I'm going to enlist the help here of Mason. I'll come down the other end and see if he wants to have another go. They are not a set of jaws you want to get your fingers near. Alright, we'll load up the rake with another egg. Whoa. There we go. Get rid of the rake. And he's looking for more. But that'll do him for today. It's just a snack. That'll get him through until probably in the next day or two we'll give him something more substantial. Well, thanks for joining me, everybody, as we take a look around my backyard and some of the animals that call this place home. Hope you enjoyed the video. Look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. This is Chili. She calls this place home too. Bring me a ball. You want me to do this? What? She'll bark. What? Come, bring it here. Dogs are cool.